Hey Heartland fans, welcome back to Next Door. It's so great to see you all here again, and if you're new, a very special welcome to the family. You've just landed in the perfect place if your heart beats a little faster for emotional story arcs, powerful scene breakdowns, and every twist and turn that Heartland throws our way. We're all about diving deep into the moments that move us, that make us cry, heal, and hope again. So, if that sounds like your kind of content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update from us here on Next Flying. Now, let's talk about the episode that's taken the entire Heartland fandom by storm, quite possibly the most powerful, gut-wrenching, and unforgettable episode in the show's long and beloved history. Yes, it's happening. Borden is back. After seasons marked by heartache, resilience, and the slow, painful process of healing, Season 19, Episode 1 delivers what many of us never thought we'd see again: the return of Borden to Amy, to Lindy, to Heartland. And to all of us who never stopped believing that love somehow might find a way. But this episode is about so much more than just a return. It's a reckoning, a reunion, a chapter of raw and emotional storytelling that reaches all the way back to the earliest days of Heartland Ranch. To understand the weight of this moment, we have to look back. Remember where Ty began, a teenage boy with no real direction, carrying the scars of a broken past, who found himself taken in by Jack Bartlett and the family at Heartland. Over the years, Ty transformed. He became a vet, a devoted partner, a fierce protector of the animals and people he loved. And most memorably, he became Amy's husband and Lindy's father, the heart of a story built on quiet strength, unconditional love, and a connection that felt timeless. And then came the tragedy in Season 14. That sudden, devastating moment after a gunshot wound led to unexpected complications, and Ty just like that was gone. We were shattered. So was Amy. Heartland took a bold step then, showing us a grieving widow trying to rebuild a life she never imagined having to live. We watched Amy rise and fall, stumble and stand again, all while raising Lindy on her own. Her strength was incredible, but so was her pain. And through all of it, Ty's absence was a quiet ache that never left the screen. But now, in a stunning twist that no one saw coming, Heartland rewrites everything we thought we knew. And no, it's not fantasy. There's no dream sequence, no time travel. The writers chose something more grounded, more human, more Heartland. We learn that Ty didn't actually die. After collapsing from a blood clot, he was rushed into emergency care and placed in a medically induced coma. Doctors gave him only the smallest sliver of hope. And in that crushing uncertainty, Jack made a decision. He chose to protect Amy from more pain. He didn't tell her. He kept it from everyone. And that decision, noble or not, changed everything. Ty spent years in recovery, isolated, fighting through the fog of trauma and survival, yearning for his family, trying to reclaim pieces of the man he used to be. And now finally, in Season 19, Episode 1, he returns. Quietly, gently. The way Ty Borden always moved with a calm, steady presence that never needed fanfare. And Amy's reaction? It's nothing short of soul-shaking. Picture this: she's out in the pasture with Spartan, brushing him in the early morning light. The wind is soft, the sound of hooves grounding her in the moment, and then, a voice she hasn't heard in years slices through the silence. "Hello, Ames." She freezes. The brush slips from her hand, hitting the earth with a soft thud. She turns slowly, and there he is. Ty, just standing there, worn but alive. Her breath catches. There's no dramatic swell of music. No sudden rush. Just silence. Just Amy, face to face with the man she buried, the man she's dreamed of, the man she learned to live without. She walks toward him, her body trembling, tears falling before she even understands what she's seeing. Her hand lifts, hesitant, desperate to touch his face to believe he's real. And when their eyes meet, you see everything. Love, loss, rage, grief, wonder. and the cruel passage of time. She's furious. She's overjoyed. She doesn't know how to feel because it's too much. Her world breaks open all over again. Later, she rides. She disappears into the barn, screaming into the hayloft, collapsing to her knees in anguish. Then she's on horseback, galloping into the hills, yelling at the sky. How do you mourn someone twice? How do you love someone who let you grieve alone? And then there's Lindy. Her scene is pure magic. She's playing by the barn, lost in her own little world, humming to herself, dirt dusting her boots, hair tangled in the wind. She sees someone moving at the edge of the trees. A tall figure, cast in golden light. She squints, blinking against the sun. Ty stops, afraid to take another step. He doesn't know if she remembers him. Doesn't know if she'll run, or cry, or stare blankly. He's missed her entire childhood. He doesn't know if he even has the right to call himself her father anymore. And then she speaks softly, bravely, curiously. Who are you? Ty kneels, his voice thick with hope and heartbreak. I'm Ty. My name is May. And just like that, a new chapter begins. Dad. There's a beat of silence, only the breeze, and no dramatic music. After giving him a brief stare, Lindy slowly advances. She says in a low, sincere voice, "You look like someone from my dreams." The most beautiful thing she does next is to wrap her arms around him. Without hesitation. No ambiguity. Only genuine, instinctive love. Realizing that his young daughter never truly forgot him, Ty holds her and silently sobs into her hair. Connection, not explanation or forgiveness, is the focus of this moment. Lindy may not know the details of where he's been, but in her heart, she knows he's home. Ty's return is handled by Heartland's steady rock, Jack Bartlett, with the quiet strength and profound emotional insight we have come to expect from him. Jack is the first person to notice Ty when he steps back onto the ranch. The old cowboy is brushing one of the horses in the barn when he hears footsteps and turns. Ty is there then, alive. Just a few feet away, he appeared exhausted, frail, and overwhelmed. However, Jack does not rush at him. He does not immediately speak. Instead, you can see the years of hopelessness and pain etched into his face as his weathered eyes take in the moment. He moves slowly toward Ty after putting the brush down and wiping his hands on his jeans. He says gruffly, "Took your sweet time," and his eyes are glassy. Ty tries to talk, but Jack just pulls him into a hug that is strong, firm, and filled with emotion that he doesn't say. Later, the two sit quietly on the porch. We haven't seen Jack so open and vulnerable in years. I didn't believe them when they said you were gone, you know? Not at all. However, Amy needed closure. She needed to continue. I couldn't take that away from her. So I kept my mouth shut until I was sure you had a chance. His words are full of love as well as guilt. Although Jack's decision was never simple, it was based on protecting himself. Additionally, when he sees Ty back, he is both proud and sad. Son, you have a second chance. Don't use it up. You still have a lot of love to share with Amy, Lindy, and everyone else. Jack's quiet support demonstrates his role as the family's emotional anchor, always composed, always steadfast, and always prepared to lead with a steady hand and a full heart. Lou's reaction to Ty's return is honest, messy, and very much like a person. After a long day at Maggie's, she walks into the house expecting to hear Amy in the kitchen, Jack talking to a horse outside, and Linda laughing. Instead, she sees him as she walks into stunned silence. Ty? Her spouse's brother. Her loved ones she assisted in his burial. Her eyes expand. Her breath is caught. She is also temporarily paralyzed. She mumbles, "No, this can't be real." She sprints forward, not with a hug, but with trembling hands clenched into fists, as tears quickly pour down her cheeks. "Do you know what you put us through?" I ask. She cries, shaking her voice. "Amy wept over you. We all wept for you. And you simply show up as if nothing had occurred?" Lou interrupts Ty as he tries to explain, his voice heavy with regret. Ty, you missed everything. You've missed Amy's worst days, Lindy's first steps, birthdays, tears, and nights when we cried ourselves to sleep. She is angry and overwhelmed, so she is crying now. Then something changes. The rage subsides when Lou looks into his kind, familiar eyes. She moves toward him, closes her arms around him and says, "We missed you so much." Lou's disagreement is real. She has always been the planner, the fixer, and fiercely loyal, as well as protective of Amy. However, even she cannot deny the hope she feels at seeing Ty alive. Although it may take her some time to move toward forgiveness, her love for her family is greater than her suffering. Georgie, once a rebellious adolescent with a ferocious spirit, is now a strong, graceful, and emotionally mature young woman. She doesn't rush to Ty when she hears that he's back. She processes everything in her own time. She thought of Ty as her big brother because he saw her when no one else could. He gave her the self-assurance she needed to believe in herself, pursue goals that were larger than the ranch, and become who she is today. After that, he vanished. She was forced to grow up without that light. They meet when she finally enters the barn and sees him. There's a lengthy, significant pause. Georgie is happy. She smiles and says, "Soft but sure, you really are stubborn. I always knew that you were the only person who could recover from the impossible." Georgie shakes her head in disbelief when Ty tries to apologize for not being there. "There's no need for you to say anything. I get that. Life doesn't always go as planned. However, I'm glad to see you back. I also hope you are aware of your importance. You were still important even after you left." She responds in a deeply mature manner, demonstrating how far she has come. You can sense their shared history and mutual respect as she gives him a long, affectionate hug. George's development is a beautiful illustration of Ty's influence on her and her capacity to continue his legacy in his absence. Tim has always been a complex individual who can be rough around the edges, fiercely protective, and not always good at expressing his feelings. However, the barriers Tim has constructed around his heart begin to crumble when Ty enters his life once more. Tim's initial reaction is cautious. Arms crossed, jaw clenched, he looks across the yard at Ty. "So, are you back?" He says it bluntly. Ty nods without knowing what to say. "Will you hit me or give me a hug?" he asks, weakly grinning. At first, Tim doesn't move. He then exhales, slightly lowering his shoulders. "I have no idea how I should feel. I thought you had passed away. I was to blame. I believed I had failed you." There is an extended pause. Then Tim suddenly comes forward and pulls Ty into a fierce and emotional hug. He murmurs into Ty's shoulder, "You dumb kid. Never do that again, I warned you." Even though Tim doesn't say much, his actions say everything. Ty's return gives him permission to finally break down after years of trying to be strong for Lindy, Amy, and himself. To sense, to let go of the grief he has carried on his own. It is one of his most vulnerable occurrences that we have ever witnessed. Late at night, when the ranch is quiet and the stars are scattered across the Alberta sky, is the most anticipated scene of all. Just as they used to, Ty and Amy sit together on the porch, surrounded by silence and memories. Amy is crying while clutching a blanket, kneeling close to her chest, and her eyes are puffy. Ty is seated next to her, hands clasped, unsure of where to start. He says softly, "I thought about this moment 1,000 times. However, now that I'm here, I have no idea what to say." Amy's voice is raw as she looks at him. "Ty, just say what you need to say. Do not be shy." He takes a long, slow breath. "I had no desire to leave you. However, I was aware that you had been informed I had died when I awoke and realized what had transpired. Additionally, I was afraid to confront what I had missed, concerned that I would no longer be sufficient." Amy sheds a tear as she shakes her head. "You were always sufficient. I never stopped loving you, even when I thought you were gone. Every day I lived with that love and that pain." Ty attempts to grab her hand. "I wish I could undo everything the years you spent alone crying, raising Lindy, and grieving me. I wish I could have been present for each and every birthday, bedtime story, and moment. Amy finally allows herself to feel all of her love and grief as she leans into him. She whispers, "You're here now, and I have no idea what comes next. However, I want to try. I want us to attempt." Ty gently kisses her forehead. "Take it one day at a time." She sighs. "Take it one day at a time." They begin a new chapter in that hushed promise, not erasing the past, but honoring it and choosing love once more. That concludes the most moving return in Heartland history, Ty Borden's triumphant return in Season 19, Episode 1. Heartland followers, what did you think? Did Ty's return fulfill your expectations? Did the conversation between Amy and Ty make you cry like it did for me? Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd love to know how you felt about the actions of each character. I'll be back soon with more Heartland content that is full of emotion, family, and love. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you never miss another deep dive from next door. Keep being kind, keep being strong, and never give up on the people you love until the next time.